Welcome to Chats Around the Kitchen Table. Harriet, Pippa and Julie will be sharing honest conversations about life, spirituality and whatever wants to be spoken today. We'll be talking about what we do and love amongst the realms of spirituality, life and truth. One common intention to share what has helped us along our path in living a healthier, happier and more fulfilling life. Welcome.
Welcome.
There we go, here we are. So we're pre-recording this, we're getting really professional now because we were only here last week, but we're going to put this one out mid-July. So yeah, we may talk out of context of what's happening, but there you go. Yeah.
Oh, we're like time travelling. When you said that, I thought
we're travelling.
It'd be really interesting because we're recording around the time of the full moon, and when this goes out, it will be going out on the new moon.
Oh.
So we can reflect on. It'll be interesting to listen to this one back for me because I don't normally listen back, but actually I might with this one.
Well, funny thing is, I was listening to some podcasts in my car, and then this just followed on naturally as the next one, and I found myself listening to it. And even though we're doing it, I thought, oh, that sounds nice and chatty. I've never bothered before.
Yeah, and so it just blended in with the others. So that's good.
So I want to say, if you are listening to this, please do share it with someone.
Yeah, definitely.
Because we're getting some nice numbers now for our followers. Yeah, it's all good. So, going to draw some cards first.
well,
So
the card.
We had the card first
we
that we drew was like
started
the group was the start, and Harriet has a new book which is called Tarot for Creativity. Who is it by?
Chelsea Pippin Mizzy.
Oh, there we go.
Great name.
Apologies if I said your name wrong. A guide for igniting your creative practice, because I'm very interested in creativity.
Yeah. And I think even though we've all learnt tarot one way or another, there's always more to learn, and we've all got different interpretations of the cards, and it's a bit like when you drive a car, the mirror signal manoeuvre turns into you just drive, and then the ultimate is when you just lay the cards and you have an understanding of them. But in this new book that Harriet looked at this morning, she said, oh, the star's got interesting.
Yeah, so it's talking about self-care as a concept has had a wild couple of decades.
Oh.
So it's saying that how we consider self-care now is only a relatively recent concept. And the woman who actually coined the phrase self-care identified it as a crucial part of her activism and life as a black lesbian woman. Caring for herself gave Lord the strength to fight for change in her world, helped her heal the wounds she'd sustained while putting herself on the line as a public figure, prompted her to prioritise her basic physical needs and connect to her community. So it's talking about self-care not as self-improvement or self-soothing, but as about radical self-acceptance and prioritization in a world that told her that she wasn't enough and that she didn't deserve attention or love.
Wow. So be the star of your own show. That's what I always say.
Yeah, and what
makes you shine.
What actually, is really important to you, and activism. That's interesting because that feeds into where I've been last weekend. But let's if you want to reflect.
That's quite relevant to the time as well, isn't it? If you're thinking about capitalism, because like we're being sold things, and then it's like stripping that back and working out where we feel like we are the star of our own show without all the flourishes that capitalism likes to sell us.
Yeah. We've all been sold something, and now we don't want what being sold
and now
anymore.
we're stripping it right back. And I love how people maybe it's just in my circles, but I do think there's a bigger understanding of the importance of filling your own cup.
It's also knowing you're allowed to do that, isn't it? And knowing it's okay. And I'm not generalising here, but I suppose women in particular prioritise looking after families or whatever, and sometimes they get forgotten.
Yeah, and that is really at the heart of what my events are about. My What You Love events is about tuning into what you love, but as a need. What do you need? It's not the fluffy extra stuff that makes you happy. It's seeing it more as in what are you inherently connected to? What does really feed your soul, I suppose, isn't it?
Yeah.
And
there's always things that we feel we have to do, like we talked about washing this morning, set my washing machine on. But it's about, the joy I get from then having nice clean washing. That's another thing, isn't it? But sometimes it's about what do you want to prioritise.
Yeah. And that also came up this weekend in the AI conversation.
Yeah.
Because the guy who was holding the talk was asking us to reflect on what things would you not outsource to your machine.
Okay.
What is it about being human that you want to keep?
Yeah.
And what can you imagine a machine could do for you in the future that you, like women or people who washed their clothes decades ago didn't know that there was going to be a washing machine.
No, never.
Didn't even. So what are the things that we do now that we could imagine we would want a machine to do for us? Because we're in charge of shaping this thing that we've created, haven't we?
Yeah.
When I was in the swimming pool, I won't say the gym because I haven't gone in the gym yet. I said to this lady, I bring 2 towels, one to sit on the sawn, and she said, a bit more washing for you to do. And I said, well, I've got a washing machine, it doesn't make any difference. And I was just amazed that she said that. What difference does it make? You just stick it in the machine. She said, it's not like years ago. And she probably wasn't any older than me. I just thought it was random that she would consider taking 2 towels as a chore.
Yes.
I don't know.
Well,
but that was obviously
that's a mindset.
That's her
isn't
mindset,
it?
and perhaps what
that
her mum would have said to her. More washing.
Yeah, that she's brought forward and actually needs a bit of updating.
Because me and my can't help but say it. I've got a washing machine. What difference does it make? And she's like, Harriet, I'm going to ask you to turn your chair a bit more this way because all I can see is the side of your face on the camera. And whilst that might suit you, then I do my...
Is that better?
You have to look at the camera a bit. There we go.
What, you want me to talk to the camera, not to
you?
you?
A bit of both. But all I could see was the side of your head. And I just think that when I do the clip-ups, it's quite hard sometimes. I'm trying to get you when you're talking.
How many podcasts do you watch?
Oh, loads.
I don't watch
any. I watch loads.
And I click the button, switch to audio.
Well, I sometimes do and sometimes don't. But I think as we're offering both, it's nice that you can see your face.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't have to look at it, but nice. Perfect. So I'm going to ask Pippa to start the cards because they've swapped seats for some reason. Just decided to...
There was
the books were
there, so I left Harriet all set up. And I'm just going to take the top card.
Oh, of course, that's fine. Woohoo! So let's put it on this way first.
The Page of Pentacles.
And I'll let Harriet try and stick it on the thing that takes us more time to set up than the whole thing.
So the Page of Pentacles to me is a beginning, and Pentacles represent energy, and I do feel like it's all right. This is in the moment, isn't it? It's fine.
Unedited.
I was going to say, do you want to just describe the card first? It's a young person as a page holding a coin, isn't it?
Standing on one leg, kind of in tree pose.
Yeah.
Like in the yoga pose, which to me also says that there's balance there and growth, and it's a new beginning, and I do feel like things are taking shape in a way that I've actually, not completely, but I feel like I'm stepping into a different cycle now where things are becoming so much clearer that actually I've cleared out a lot of the stuff that I was doing. So it feels like I'm beginning again in a lot of ways.
Rebirthing,
Yeah, but it's with a lot of the same content, but completely repackaged.
Yeah, because pages are about feeling youthful, and sometimes when you have a new beginning, that's what it feels like, because you haven't been doing it that long anyway. Yeah. But it's to then sort of well, it's not rebranding, is it? But in some respects it is. It's great. It's giving you that renewed energy.
I was exactly that. It is like I know where I want my energy to go.
Yeah,
because she's holding a kind of one big pentacle.
Yeah,
and it looks like a coin. That's a kind of a mandala, and that mandala's also reflected in the circle around her foot that she's standing on. So for me, this card is often about grounding what you the energy that you hold within around your central core kind of thing, and seeing that come out in the external world. Because it's a page, it's not an ace, is it? It's not a one, is it?
Aces and pages are pretty similar about newness, but
But one's more in the world, I
Yes.
think. As you get to the page stage,
Yes.
you're in the world.
Yeah.
Whereas the one is like, it's probably beginning in you.
Which is like the
inside.
stuff is already there.
Yeah.
It's being kind of repackaged into, I'm like moving my hands around.
If you look at the cut, it's kind of a reflection, isn't it? What she's holding, what she sees.
And you've got the big trees
the
behind
ground.
us, all this growth has happened, is how I'm seeing that. Because they looking a bit more mature now, those trees. Not little twiggy things, they're all like proper green trees, aren't they? Yeah.
Excellent. I like that card.
Nice.
I'll take that.
Take that.
Take that. So there we go. I'm just going to take the top as well. I didn't react. Look. So I've got the Two of Wands. So the Two of Wands, I love this card. There's a youngish person looking out of the window holding a wand, and in front of her, it's a very golden window, there's a globe, and also on the floor is a picture of a camper van, which of course I have one of those, not a VW anymore, and a surfboard. Always reminds me of my daughter because she's the surfer, but it's also about both my daughters live abroad, live out in the world, and I suppose as for me, looking out reflective, where do I want to go next? Is it about travelling? Is it about learning? What do I want to do? And Wands is all about action. So I'm interested in these little, I think, are they party lights sort of strung there?
Yeah, like fairy lights.
Yeah, like little fairy lights sort of illuminating the way, aren't they? Yeah. She looks wistful. How does that relate to me?
State of contemplation.
Yes, I am sort of, where do I want to put my energy, I guess? Where do I want to go next?
I saw an interesting post about wands the other day about where the characters are holding, if they're holding on to the wand, or if the wands are, like the Eight of Wands is just the wands.
Yes.
But it said that when they're holding the wands, that's like the determination and the passion to drive, like you're kind of driving it forward. Where am I going? Yeah.
But I suppose for that one, I mean, it's about choices, isn't it? And the Two of Wands is about which action would I choose. And I suppose in this one, she's holding one wand, but just gently with one hand. And I suppose I do feel that I want to be more gentle with myself these days and not do all the rushing about, and just sort of changing the way that I do things, really. But yeah. I don't know. I quite like the card. I think
decision
time maybe.
Yeah,
as well.
and the choice.
The choices, I feel I have choice now. I have the choice because when I lived on my own, I did lots of massaging, and it wasn't always my choice to work as hard as I did because that was my only source of income at that point. So, and I sort of do curse it a bit because my hands are not always as healthy as they'd like them to be. But yeah, that is improving. I've been wearing magnets.
That card kind of how she sat, and like you say, she is quite gentle.
Yes.
So it's like I could go that way.
Yeah, I could go that way. So I do feel I have choice.
Do you have a plan to see either of your daughters?
Yes, I'm going in September.
So is the travel plan?
The travel plan is that, I'd imagine, yes, because
you've decided, and they're both going to be there.
Both going to be there, so the Aussie daughters coming as well. And I suppose I haven't seen them since last January, so it'll be quite a long time since I've seen them. And even though I say I have phone children.
Yeah.
But my granddaughter, she'll speak to me on the phone. Sometimes she will actually actively do a video call herself. But generally speaking, Milo looks at me and I'll say, "You can say hello, Nanny." He goes, "Hello, Nanny," and that's it. He's 13. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to sort of sharing time with them as well.
So maybe for me that card's about putting energy into what you want to happen. Then
definitely, yeah.
Because it's only one thing to decide to go, isn't it?
Yes.
And to then book the ticket and to think about the travel plans.
Yeah,
what are you going to do when you're there? How are you going to connect with Milo?
Yeah.
What sort of things could you do?
So the last time I went there, because he loves to play games with me because he's inevitably better at all of them than me. But one game he chose to play, he didn't know that I already knew this game, and I could see he was getting a little bit itchy palmed because I was, he still won, but it was like a challenge. But I suppose I wish I'd done more of that with him, But, you know, I suppose I sort of sit in the background a little bit when I'm there, because I like to just be there. I don't particularly want to be doing this and doing that. I like to just observe and just be there. It's really, I don't know, it's so special. It's just,
You want to
it's
take
emotional. I take it all
in.
So I have sort of 2.5 weeks of intense mummy time, grandma time, and I love that. I love that. Yeah.
I can't imagine what it's like to have grandchildren abroad, because I have 2 children abroad, and that's, you know, bad enough.
Yeah, well, I suppose all I can say is I just had to accept it, because I had no choice, and I'm really happy for them and their lives. I want them to be happy. I don't want them to feel they have to be their mum, because that would be awful. But at the same time, you know, there are moments when I really miss them, and I acknowledge that. I didn't used to. I say, oh no, it's fine, but now I say, I miss them.
It's a bit rubbish.
Yeah, it is rubbish, but
even though the world's a smaller place than it used to be.
But what I do think is, like with the phones, it is a bit like teleportation, because when sometimes Sophie, she'll even go to the loo when I'm on video call with her, and I suddenly realise the phone's looking up. She just doesn't care, which is great. A bit too much sharing, but you know, she'll prop me up, and then she'll be making her breakfast, and it's like I'm in the room with her, and she'll just get up and then get her crocheting, and it's a moment that I'm there, but I'm not there, and it is weird. It is literally like that teleportation time.
Yeah,
isn't
it's
it?
something.
You've also got the time difference.
The time difference can be very tricky, and I think Singapore's worse because it's like 9 hours. I forget which way round it is, but that seems to be worse. But but I'm a bit like, I don't like to just phone them in case they're busy, and I'm told that's really annoying, but I just don't.
Because they want you to.
They would like me to. I said they don't forget, but they just get busy, don't they?
Yeah.
But,
Gus very often rings me on the way home from work.
Right.
Not very often, sometimes. Hi Gus, I'm sure you're not listening.
Yeah. I suppose for me, if I was to ring them feeling I needed to speak to them and then they said they were busy, that would be worse than for me just to sit with it and then have happy memories, and then I message and say, are you free for a chat?
Yeah.
But to try and call them and them not be there, that's that disappointment factor. I can't cope with that very well.
I can relate to that. I don't think I don't generally tend to call even the ones that live in this country.
No, it's more messaging, isn't it? I think. And we've got a group chat, and yesterday Emily sent me a video of Aspen, and she actually swim gala, and she actually did the whole diving in thing, you know. And I suppose my great joy of that is I taught them or took them for swimming lessons when they were little. So not that either of them can remember them, of course, because they're beyond the age of memory, but they see photographs, and I love it that I gave them that. I guess.
Yeah.
And that taught me to swim as well. So happy memories, but also a bit tainted's the wrong word, isn't it? But it's all that happy, sad, isn't it?
Good dose of real life.
It is real life. It's reality, isn't it? Yeah.
I've got the same card I had last time. The 4 of Cups.
The 4 of Cups. A very wistful looking Harriet.
I wonder what your book says about the 4 of Cups.
Do you want me to
find
out
what
from
the Four
a
of Cups?
creativity perspective?
Because she looked, and this picture, it's a picture of a youngish person sort of sitting in a rainbow effect, really, and she's got 1 cup beside her with her hand holding it, and then there's 3 cups away from her, and she looks a bit, that's been handed, look to her. So it's a bit like she's missing the point in something, we say, but I want to put it on the stand, is what I was thinking.
I've never noticed that.
I hadn't noticed that hand before. So literally with tarot cards, and then when I teach it in a group, someone will say, oh, what's that? Like, and one of them is the snail there. Oh, I never noticed the snail before. So someone will always notice something.
On that note, I quite often, when I take photos of these, or if you put a camera over the top of them, it seems to almost make them look 3D, like you're going in them, and it highlights so many things that I don't notice.
So this book relates the 4th cup that looks like it's got all the magic flowing out of it to a creativity block, and it's saying instead of fighting your way through it or ignoring it, sit with your stagnancy. So sit with the 3 stacked bowls on the left, and I don't know, it's a reminder that you're allowed, even encouraged, to sit with your stagnancy instead of trying to fight it off or ignore its presence. So the last time you generously pointed out that the 4th cup was present and that perhaps I'd find it at the Realisation Festival. Yes. Now I've been to the Realisation Festival to be given the same.
Did you find it?
Be given the same
was
cup.
your cup fulfilled?
It's interesting.
Is it showing you that you found
I didn't need to find anything, I think, is what it's showing me. And I don't know.
It's interesting, isn't it?
It's really interesting. There was times it got to about
So should we say that so for those who didn't hear last week, you went on a Realisation Festival.
I went to the Realisation Festival, which is about, they call it Unlearning and Reimagining, and it's set in a beautiful state. Well, it's somebody's home, but
a big one.
You'd call it a stately home. Beautiful grounds, and you camp or you can pay money and stay in the house. They feed you like gorgeous food in this. It looks like a wedding marquee tent set in the grounds. You're, welcome to use the place like your home. There was this secret little grotto that you would have loved, Julie, that nobody really talked about, but I got lucky and someone showed me, and it looks just like a kind of rundown gardener's cottage or something in the grounds from the outside, and you open the door and you walk in, and the entire interior is covered with shells. And made into different kind of mermaid kind of shapes and figures and heads. Wow. It's just
shell art.
It is the most incredible thing.
Is it something that you can go to, just pay to go, or it is actually somebody's home and
it is the Earl of Shaftesbury's home?
Oh right, so it's not open.
He is
to
the 12th Earl, and he's got the same name that all his ancestors have. Anyway, Nick is how we knew him, and he's incredibly generous, and privilege obviously came up a lot during the weekend. Anyway, to get back to what I was saying, I didn't even know what the thing really was, even in the second day.
Isn't it great to just do that,
this
though?
thing?
Yeah.
And then I realised on the last part, so there are speakers, there are little workshops. It's about everything and anything. It's not spiritual per se. It's more, but it is soulful. There was talk of kind of deeper meaning. So there was bits about, but activism came up quite a lot. So war was a bit of a theme, but so was AI. So was storytelling was a big part of the weekend. There was intuition and business was one talk. And on the last, and then there are these small groups that you meet morning and evening, a group of about 9 people to kind of digest what's going on really and talk in a more intimate kind of way. And on the last morning, I'd been sleeping in my van. I actually slept in, and it was like 9:15. I slept through breakfast and everything. So it was a bit like, sleepy. And I went to the showers, which were gorgeous, outside camping showers. Really nothing like a camping shower I'd ever been in. And I thought, they're going to want that we're going to be talking about takeaways, what's the meaning, and all this. And I really resisted all of that because I sort of thought, I still don't really know what this is. And in a way, it's a bit of a metaphor for life. Like, don't collapse it into meanings because then it's less than it is.
Well, then you have to live up to what you think it means, maybe.
Or then it only means, it does, labelling limits things.
Yeah.
So we went along to the small group, and inevitably we were asked for a phrase or some words, because the other part of the weekend, which was amazing, was they had some they're called improvisers, people who improvise. Really talented. Pippa Evans was one of them, who I think has a TV show. Is on the TV show. I haven't a clue. I didn't realise that till about the second day either. So, and they wanted the phrases because then they were going to do an improvised end of weekend show kind of thing. And we came up with this phrase. Our group leader was trying. She was trying to come up with a phrase, and she kept bringing us back. So what are we going to say? And I just got this real sense. Trying too hard, and then this little phrase came out of this a lovely guy called Darren, and he said, can't we just improvise? And I went, that's it. I said, I vote for that. That's life. Can't you just, if you can just improvise in life, all you have to do for improvising is show up and be open, be curious, and see what happens. And I mean, I'm not a professional improviser, and it would absolutely fill me with horror to stand up and say anything in front of anybody, although I am sitting here on this podcast. But I thought that's right. That's what it is, isn't it? That is creativity. It's just be open, use what's available, use what's around you, and find the next thing.
Definitely.
And when you're just improvising, you're removing so much.
Removing the rules, the have-tos, the shoulds.
That's the unlearning, isn't it? Unlearning and reimagining. And you make it together. Like it doesn't, I think one of the things that I'm realising is the thing that you want, or the thing that you think you might want, or the thing that you don't know what you want, none of it actually exists yet.
Because you haven't created it.
No, none of us, and we can create it, because we're creating it anyway, whether we are consciously or unconsciously, we do create our lives. And then that becomes quite exciting. Yeah. Maybe that's my fourth cup. The excitement of creating what doesn't exist yet.
What's your true takeaway from the
Maybe.
Yeah.
So we did have a little bit of a pre-chat, and you were saying about the guy who talked about building a business. Do you want to say a bit about that, about the passion?
Okay, so
Harriet challenged herself to talk to people she hadn't yet talked to. And then
let's be more specific.
I'd
realised I'd only really been talking to women, and I thought, oh, here we go, I'm going to have to talk to some men. So I sat down and found myself in there were 4 people. I think there was a man, woman were partners. Everyone was so generous and genuinely curious and interesting. You could talk to anyone. One of the phrases that one of the groups came up with was 15 minutes of intimacy. Because you could be walking back to your tent, you could be going to dinner, you could be working out which room you were, but there'd be someone there and you just have a few moments. And it wasn't chit-chat, it was, the stuff I love. Deep and meaningful. Anyway, this conversation, they asked me what I did. Well, that was a bit of a... I did have to answer
that. What did you say?
I did have to answer that question many times this weekend until there'd been enough talks where I could just talk about the talk straight away, so someone didn't get the chance to ask me. So I said I create spaces where people... what did I say? I definitely said I create spaces where people get to experience what it feels like to be present and not present. Mm-hmm. And I think they didn't really know what I meant, so I then went on to say, well, it can be sound baths, or it can be, just an encounter where you have a conversation, and it's kind of like generative listening. I think is what you listen to you're in conversation with other people. When Pippa or Julie, it started with you, and we would come to your house with the oracle cards, and we would talk around the table about. You talk just a little bit about what you're up to or what you want to be up to, and then the group forms a kind of conversation, doesn't it? And when we've done stuff here, our Reset and Revive days,
you can never gauge how long to allocate to that time, because sometimes it really opens up.
It emerges. The stuff emerges. So and that's quite a difficult thing to say. That's what you do. Anyway, so I cobbled my way to the end, and they said. I said something about, I hate this. And then I looked at them, and they were all 3 of them were looking at me. And the guy who was the investment banker, he said, we're just looking at you with curiosity. And then I was like, did a deep kind of breath, and I just relaxed. And I just thought, get over yourself, Harry. Just talk about what you do. So then I started to talk about what I did do.
Did you mention homeopathy?
I don't know, but I know that I did mention... helping people find what they really love, what's really important to them, what they really care about, and trying to bring more of that into their lives. So then I had got over that hurdle, so I was able to ask him what he did, and he said he was an investment banker. We'll talk about, labelling and judging. I thought I knew exactly what that was and what he did. But we then got on to the topic of business, because one of the first talks had been by Nikki Trott, and she had talked about how she's written a book called Sacred Business, and it's about how she changed the way she related to business by bringing in her intuition, and that had made all the difference, and to not only the people that she worked with, but to herself. So he was talking about how he worked. I think he said, I'm really hoping this will never... Well, anyway, a strategist. I think he called himself a strategist. And
Well, that was your take on it, doesn't matter.
Yes, true. Yeah. So he was saying he'd basically studied, or he'd worked with people that were extremely successful entrepreneurs. And the thing that they had in common was that they'd seen an opportunity to make money, and they'd taken it, and it had gone from there. Whereas I was saying, start with what you love, and build a business from that. And he said those are not the businesses. It doesn't start with passion. That is not what my successful entrepreneurs have in common. It's not that they shared their passion. He said their business became successful, and then that afforded them a lifestyle that then meant that the money they began to love their business because of what it enabled, the lifestyle it enabled them to then live
out their passions through the money that they're earning,
and then they became passionate about their business.
Okay.
So the passion came later in his model of success.
Yes, but I suppose for me, I've written here money versus happiness, isn't it? And I suppose, yes, money can bring you choices. I always say that. But money definitely doesn't make you happy. We all know that. You can have loads of money and sit very lonely in a room, and that doesn't make any difference.
We know it's a full cycle, don't we?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
What is your?
Which is why
what is success?
Yeah. Who's measuring the success? So the Pentacles is the absolute idealism of that. Is that it is a coin, but it's earth and it's energy. And actually, when you put your energy into something, that's what brings you happiness. This is for me, and I think we're all the same in that. When we find what is easy, that makes us happy. Does it make us money? Sometimes. I don't know.
But that's the dilemma, I think, that all three of us have, is being involved in something that you love, that's very, in a way it's personal, but also you would like to think that anyone can find that happiness in the doing.
Absolutely believe that anybody can.
Find their thing.
Once you're aware.
Awareness is all, isn't it?
Yeah. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you can charge money for facilitate, or people don't want to. I haven't worked that bit out.
Yeah. But the thing is, like I said last time, I've just put all my prices up, and I was sort of a bit about that. But I've just had someone book a treatment at the new price.
Good.
Didn't bat an eyelid, and they're paid. So, and I was a bit like, oh, this is exciting. It's not that I don't think I'm worth it. It wasn't what I charged before. But she's obviously, I don't know who she's obviously read my website and decided that that's what she wants. So there you go.
I think
it's being brave enough to put your worth on it, isn't it?
Communicating that, like you said, when you were asked what you do, it's communicating what you do in a way that is touching other people.
Yes.
Getting across to it, and that's not always easy.
So that's learning to sell, isn't it? I might need to go and do a course in selling.
Which
there are skills
but you'll still only sell it,
isn't it? That's his niche, isn't it? He's from that world, that business world, so he sees that before the spirituality side of things, whereas you're very much more in the spirituality side of things, and the money is like a. So
but you can still only sell something to someone that wants it.
But you can create the illusion. You can create a lot of illusions and delusions. Let's face it, we're succumb all the time. We're one click away on Instagram from buying anything with ease, aren't we?
Yeah.
But his and my conversation developed into him basically saying that people will only be interested in my kind. He thought people will only be interested in my kind of business once they had sufficient material wealth. That they had. He was talking about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and once you've got your survival needs, that you then. It's like this theory that only the more evolved people have. It comes with money, and I resist that idea. Because that's very depressing. I think it's more symptomatic, maybe, just of the society, the structure that we exist within. Yeah.
But you hear it all the time. People who win the lottery, for example, they either blow it all or they turn to addiction. It's not the answer to just have loads of money, is it?
Well, they reckon. Well, people, whoever they are that have done the research, they reckon the lottery winners, it's about identity and who you identify as, isn't it? So because you don't change your identity, it's like a thermostat. Once you win that lottery money, you don't actually believe you're the really rich person. You still believe, unless you update who you think you are and redefine yourself. You lose the money.
Follow a comedian like Rob Beckett, and him and Josh Widdicombe do a Parenting Hell podcast, which I listen to loads. But he still feels like he's not worthy of all the stuff that he's got, and he has to check himself all the time. But that makes him real to me. I like him because he's not flaunting it. And even Mickey Flanagan, in his comedy, he'll say, "Oh, I'm posh now," And he says, I find myself looking for sourdough bread. I mean, it's not posh anymore, but at the time he wrote the joke, it was, you know. So there's
Kathy Burke's another
yes.
one who's very much like that because of her upbringing, and she said that her measure of feeling wealthy is if she's got a bit of savings in an account, because she was only ever living on the breadline.
Yeah.
But it's interesting, isn't it, with well-being, like, should be accessible to everybody.
Yes.
And is because it is definitely something that you don't necessarily have to pay for. I mean, there are like this podcast even, there are a million different well-being things that you can access via YouTube, Instagram.
Well, not be funny, you can go for a walk outside, and that is completely, you know, free to us, isn't it? But but for us, I suppose we're trying to bring groups together a lot of the time, and I'm going to talk about what we did last night. So Pippa arranged a sort of very loose evening, because we're talking about, what's the date today?
30th.
Oh, it's the 1st of July.
So sorry, yesterday was the 30th.
So we all went down to see Pauling, and there's about 8 of us, I think, in the end.
Yeah.
And we wanted to swim, but sadly too many jellyfish, and I react really well to anything that bites me, so I didn't want to risk that.
There were quite a few.
But then we did a bit of moon salutations, a bit of yoga, and we did some drumming. But what really was it's just about chit-chatting and meeting people, and I think and Harriet did a few cartwheels and handstands, and we all loved and laughed at that.
It was, I mean, the sea, the sun setting, it was beautiful, wasn't it? It was being part of being outside, feeling the wind, hearing the sea.
Yeah.
And I wanted to do it because, like, you talked about creating a space,
yes.
and that's all it is. It's like bringing people together. And actually then it provides an opportunity to talk about the more in-depth things that we offer as well. I had a couple of people ask me about readings, tarot readings last night, which was really nice and not anything that I had no expectation
none of us had leaflets, we weren't selling anything as
no
such.
expectations.
But it is about that, I suppose. People buy into you, which has always been my saving grace, because people have bought into me, and whatever I've done, they've just done. So, I mean, bully for me, you know. But I think, you know, you can have as many adverts as you like for who you are, but it's when that person meets you, they then relate to you.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was also lovely to hear that Kerry's booked a holiday and is going and has bought herself a new bikini that she actually likes.
And
I discovered that I've known her for years. How funny was that?
She may be listening to this on holiday.
So she's not gone yet. Oh yes.
No, because we're putting it out later. So she may. So hi, Kerry.
And she'd have had her show where she's singing
on Saturday, the 4th of July.
Amateur SAPs, they call it, Spixworth Amateur Players. I mean, I lived in Spixworth for years. My dad built the village hall, so I have been to that pantomime for absolutely years. I take my friend Julie's children and her.
Yeah.
We couldn't go this year.
Oh, it was really good.
But we've been there every year for, well, how old our oldest is now, but we've been there every year, and they love it, you know.
Yeah.
And that's just another great thing about opening up these spaces, because I took Katie, and as we were driving back, we were talking about places that we used to hang out, and I was like, we literally must have sat in the same room. Like, it's bizarre. And actually, when I met her, because we met her through a Reset and Revive day at Harriet's house, just over a year ago, and then found out that she lives like 2 streets away from me as well. So I love how all these little connections, there's so many threads, and when you have these gatherings and bring people together, it opens up.
And also there was no real expectations to that. You didn't know that people would do the yoga, but they did, and as it happened, I had the perfect amount of drums for everyone to join in. But it wouldn't have mattered if someone just sat there, because it was just that being together. I mean, we can't charge anyway for that because it's in a public place. Yeah. But the point is, there was no need to. It was just like people meeting up, and there was no agenda to it really. Everyone was just there.
And then they get opportunities to experience like little bite-sized things of what we do, like the drumming at Fairhaven. Yeah. And there were a couple of people there who hadn't drummed
absolutely
before,
loved it,
and they were like amazed, blown over by how powerful a drum is. So yeah, it just again
and I suppose,
opened things up.
And I think we're all pretty passionate about what we do. So not that I disagree with that guy, because I think he's right. But if I was more hard-nosed about things, I would probably have a stronger business. But I want people to enjoy what I'm selling them.
It's
I think it's the
it's the genuineness. I want it to be.
Yeah,
I want it to be me. So
Yeah.
I don't know how possible it is to have both. I mean,
we
maybe
shall
it is.
see.
We shall see. But I know that I can't remember who said it now about getting in the cold dips. You know, and about the reward. It's not. You know, and nobody wants to go to the gym in reality, but the reward comes after you've done it. It's like nobody wants to be on a diet, but the reward comes after you've done it. And I suppose, talking about passion, you know, like when we have a group, like last night, the passion was everyone loved it. And to me, that's such a big reward. To feel that happiness is incredible.
Yeah.
So we were talking about storytelling, and I know you said about the storytelling. So Linda, who I took in the car with me last night, I know she won't mind me saying this, but bless her, she has got a bit of a story to tell at the moment, because she had a few things, like her house sale fell through, so that's
Are you
quite
sure
a story.
she wouldn't mind us talking
Nah,
about
not
this?
that. I'm only talking about that. But what she said to me, she asked me, what do you think of me when I was a bit, I don't know, why would you value my opinion? The only thing I said to her is, you seem quite stuck in your stories from the past. And I just think, talking generally about stories, and I know that I've just read a book, talking about books, I wasn't going to talk about this, but I will. This lady, and it was, I should remember the name of it. It was one of the BBC's top books. I think Sarah Cox has a book thing, didn't she? I don't know. Anyway, it was top there. And I read it, and it was about a coercive relationship. And I didn't not like it. It was an amazing book, but it brought back so many of my stories that I didn't like it because I didn't want those stories. And in that time of reading it, and I read it in like a week because I wanted to finish it but I couldn't leave it. But the dreams I had were incredibly horrible, and it's horrible because when you think of something, your mind doesn't know if it's happening or happened or going to happen. This is where we talk about manifestation, isn't it?
Yeah.
So the thing is, though, not that I wished I hadn't read it. It was a really amazing book. But this is what I was explaining to Linda, is that when you talk about things from your past, it becomes the now because your mind literally doesn't know.
And that's also quite an empowering thing, isn't it? Because when you know that...
Yeah, she said she hadn't realised she was doing that.
Yeah.
And actually she had a story that I felt was more worth telling, and she skimmed over that in like 5-6 seconds. But, you know, and I said, you're not attached to that story, yet that has impacted your life. And she said, oh yeah. So I suppose in that journey home, like you talk about the 15 minutes of conversation, it was longer than that, but not much longer. But sometimes those pockets of chats can have quite an impact. And when she got out of the car, she said, thanks for your help. She said, I've got lots to think about. You know, so it's just that little changing of thoughts.
Because I think, like, when you say, or when any of us say something in that situation, it's not necessarily the bit that I think might be the stark realisation point. It's normally not that at all. It's normally something really small that's just almost said in
a fleeting moment, isn't it?
What that people remember.
That people hold and they're like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
And that's their aha moment,
definitely
rather than the
that.
one that
You think
that
it's
I
gonna
think
be.
it would be, or like when I reflect on conversations and I think, oh well, that came up, so maybe, and no, that almost like goes over their head, and it's like something so what I would say so tiny. It's like a big, like you've just brought her awareness to
didn't know.
the other
I really
story.
wasn't criticising her, because she did ask. She said, "What do you think about me?" And I just thought, I felt a bit awkward, really. I thought, well, I don't know. I don't really think anything of you. I just, you know, I was happy to have
I
a
thought
person
it was
in the car. But
Linda, if you're listening, I thought it was so lovely, and I always think it's so brave when people step out of their comfort zones and join a community gathering like that. Like you put yourself forward.
Well,
you came on your
own
and
said, "Can I have a lift?"
Yeah, how amazing!
Yeah.
Like keep doing that.
When was
Keep
the
doing
last
that.
time you did something for the first time? Someone said that to me yesterday.
Oh, well, I've had my 3
You
firsts
had your
last
3
time,
firsts, didn't you?
I?
And you were talking in a previous episode that the one thing that you love doing when you're with people in a session is following the energy where it's most alive, which is almost the opposite of what you were just saying then. But I think what you were saying, what you think is the impactful stuff is different
on
from
reflection.
Yeah.
When I reflect back, when I reflect on a Reiki session or whatever it may be, and I think like as a reflection, sometimes little phrases and then when they come back, they're like, "You said this to me," and I was like, "Oh right, okay."
But for me, that's just about really listening to someone else, and there was a lot of that went on this weekend. You know, a lot of people were very good at listening, and when you're listening and you're not thinking about what you're going to say in response, and you're just listening, you're able to find the threads, if I'm using your language, that are most alive, and ask the other person who you're listening to kind of expand on that, and that then is a gift to them to go deeper into their experience, and then the conversation just gets richer and richer from there. I find.
That is one of those things, because I mean, like, even as you're saying that, I'm thinking what I'm going to say next, but for recording purposes. But I remember when I did some training years ago, the person told you their story, and then, because we didn't know this, but then when you go around the circle, you had to tell their story, and I was like, I can't remember what she said, because I wasn't listening. I was busy thinking what I was going to say. Much to my horror, she'd listened to me very well, and almost word for word, she interpreted what I'd said. But that proved that I wasn't listening to her, because the exercise was just chat to each other, and then you're going to just, you know.
And I think, as I think about the weekend that I've had and my takeaways reflect up, one of the things definitely is about listening. And when I went last night to the I actually didn't go as, like, Linda had asked me to come to my supper club, which wasn't working, which wasn't going to happen.
Where's my supper?
So I then offered her the swim. So that's and then she already knew Julie, so Julie brought her. But I went to that, and I was playing, and I was listening. I didn't really think about my business, and maybe that's what I'm going.
Well, it's not that's wrong, is it? No, because see, the thing is, though, I think as a personality, we're selling ourselves all the time, whether we're selling something or not. And
I was definitely not
it's
in
about.
business
I think that's like language, isn't it? When people talk badly of someone else. Again, I was saying this to Linda, not that she was doing that, but I said, thing is though, when you keep telling stories, people just remember, oh, she's always gone on about that. Like people, I mean, I've had clients who've like constantly come back month after month with the same story about their bad relationship.
Well, they should know better than to do that in your space.
I
know what they're going to get.
A certain amount of time I'll say, I'm bored of that story, surely you must be. And what it becomes is, it becomes a story that they think it's worth telling, because everybody loves to hear, something that perhaps isn't right about someone else, because that's the land of soaps, isn't it? So I encourage people to try and not do that. And I gave the example when I used to work at Reliance Garage years ago, answering the phone. I say, thank you for calling Reliance Garage. How may I help you? And I remember this guy once said, cool, he said, that's 50p spent already, because they're very cheeky people. But I was a receptionist, and there was quite a big company, and lots of people would tell me their stuff. Anyway, it turned out at one point that these two people left their partners and then got together because they made this big announcement. And I just had a deadpan face, because I knew, because they both told me individually. And someone said to me, what, you knew? I said, yeah, well, you never said anything. I said, it wasn't my story to tell. And that was literally, so I get a bit annoyed when people say, oh, you won't say anything, will you? I think you clearly don't know me, because I don't ever say anything. Especially if I've been asked not to say it, but I'm just not bothered about sharing stories, really. But that was sort of a classic example. But I would definitely have thought, there was one lady, I'd have said, oh, she's the gossip, because she's always, have you heard about so-and-so? And even though she told me, she said, you never even said you knew. I said, no, because you said, did I know? But I wasn't answering you, because I didn't want to tell you that I knew, because it wasn't my story. So that's an interesting point about how people react, isn't it, to stuff that's not theirs. But who do you want to be seen as? I suppose
I don't want to be seen as anything.
I just want to be seen as a kind person. That's what I want to think, that people think of me.
It's not what someone says, it's how they feel in your presence, isn't it? That's what I'd prefer to be awake to. Yeah. But
so on that, I don't think you're missing a trick by that. And it's not, because So again, when I ran a Mind, Body and Spirit show, there was one lady, she just was had cards that she'd made, and they were great. But rather annoyingly, there's a few readers there as well. Every time someone came around the corner, she sort of honed in on them and said, "Oh, would you like to pick a card?" And I thought, that's all well and good. Then she was sort of doing a mini reading for the person who was there. But I could see that some of the people were interested and some weren't, because she was trying to sell what she was doing. And in a way, that then put people off having a reading, I didn't mind, with me or the lady next to me, because they sort of scooted past. So to me, she was like desperately trying to sell what she was selling, whereas often I just sit there, I've got my board up or what I'm doing, and people just walk up and sit down. So it's about how, do you want to be selling? What's your expectation? I suppose for me, if I do a few good readings in a day, that's me.
It would start with listening for me. I'd like to know what that person, what they wanted help with, and I'd start there. Because most of us can do quite a few things. We've got quite an adaptable toolkit, haven't we?
And to be fair to this lady, what the cards that she had, that wasn't actually what she was. Her business is, she's a sound practitioner.
So she was just hooking people in.
So she was hooking people in, which was great. But I just felt, it was lovely to see her enthusiasm. But the point is, it's about what are you trying to sell? And sometimes just being there is more selling than not. The stall holders that don't sell anything is the ones that are looking at their phones and sitting down. So to give her a due, she was up there standing up, and she was being there. It's always about balance, isn't it? About everything.
Maybe, like from what you're saying there, because yes, she had the cards, but she was the sound practitioner.
Yeah.
And maybe it's about like authenticity.
Yeah.
And like being, just being who you are. Like you're just sat there, just being who you are.
Yeah.
Without trying.
Yeah.
Or trying to box anything up or control anything. And a part of the reason why I wanted to do the beach thing was I ended up kind of talking people through the yoga, which was great.
We needed that.
But and the same like with the drumming. I know you like added some bits into the drumming and stuff. But to have that flow and for it to not be a structure.
A structure,
And to literally just see what happens, and make it quite authentic and quite natural, rather than here we are and then we're going to do this and then we're going to do this.
Well, we'll have to see what people thought.
But I do know that's the excitement of someone new doing something, and I love the enthusiasm of people. But it's about, I just think that's that balance, isn't it? And yes, direction. Tarot isn't the only thing I want to be known for, and that's for sure. I'm sitting there selling tarot, aren't I? But I do know there's, people all in that room selling all different things. But I suppose it's what's on your stall, isn't it? But on my stall is me.
See, on this subject, you've got a Mind, and Spirit coming up, haven't you?
It's the 15th of August. It's at Munsley. We'll have already had the other one at Swaffham. But that's at Munsley, Mind, Body and Spirit. So Spirituality by the Sea, or a spiritual day by the sea.
Sounds lovely.
Yes. So there's a lot going on that day, as I've discovered. A lot of the stall holders that I normally have, they're doing at Chroma Carnival. So I've got lots of new people, which is interesting. Doing all different
but those kind of things are a really good opportunity.
Good tasters, aren't they?
To go and experience things.
Yeah. So it's about, come along to that. Also on the 15th, can't be the 15th. Is it the same? Not the same. No, July. 15th of July is drumming at Fairhaven. That's what we're getting.
So this will go out on the 15th. So it will be tonight.
The drumming.
All right. So there's drumming tonight.
And then Harriet's got quite a lot going on. Harriet, tell us.
Well, I've got my supper and sauna club. It's a bit hot at the moment to contemplate a sauna, but if it cools down, don't really wish that for people. On the 26th of July.
But I still go in the sauna at the swimming because I love it.
So on the 26th of July, there's sauna and supper here. And that is like the beach thing. It's an invitation just to have a conversation. There won't be an agenda, but I will ask questions and see what emerges. Because for me, I am also interested in fleshing out this feminarchy, this women, what does the more feminine structure look like?
Yeah.
What does it look like to gather at the beach and drum and
Yeah.
do a bit of yoga? What is that doing? And for me, it's connecting, isn't it? It's connecting and it's building this structure that I think might be important.
I think it's quite empowering for women to see that actually there are other women who are interested in the same kind of things and who are drawn to the same kind of things, and that it's okay. It's not weird.
Well, and if we talk about passionate, I am passionate about listening to myself and other women articulate what that is. We know what male energy does, and we've got it in us. I'm not being. Men are welcome to the beach. I'm talking about feminine energy. What does feminine energy look like?
And we were all quite playful last night, weren't we? And I noticed there was a group of lads there, wasn't there? And they were sort of just observing us, and they went in the sea and they played. They obviously weren't bothered about jellyfish, where they all didn't know what they were. Yeah. But and then as they walked past, they actually went hi and said hello,
it's
didn't
lovely,
they?
isn't
and
it?
I almost thought they wanted to join in with the drumming. They were sort of getting close, but that was just nice, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I think this podcast is another form of that, isn't it? It's like, what is it that's going on? Yeah. What is it? What does it mean to be a woman? Yeah. Anyway, so
that's the 26th of July.
And then 2 days later, on the 28th of July, I've got a creativity day, which is lots of different things put together to really just see if we can tune into what we all love, and that will be different for each of us.
So creativity, so is that making things or making...
No, that is just being creative about your life.
Okay, I'm making that clear because it's like a creating a craft thing is what I'm thinking in my head.
I mean, we might get some paints out, but I can't draw or paint, so if you can do either of those...
say that.
Having said that, I have had 2 very lovely life drawing classes, and I will go back. So that's my 2 things, and then there's a What You Love Summer retreat here, August the 7th to the 9th. And maybe you have a friend or a family member who doesn't live in this area, and you've been to one of our events, and you might like to come with them or encourage them to come. It will be 2 nights and 3 days. Well, not really quite 3 days.
You don't have to be local to come, is what we're
saying.
You
don't have to be local to come, and if you'd like to come but not stay, that's also an option. So that's me. I've done some self-promotion, guys. Thank you.
So I'm just going to talk about Realisation Festival, where Jay and I have our little bright orange tarot tent. So, I mean, that's a festival that's been going for years. It's near North Walsham. It's the 25th and 26th of July. It's 2 days. So years ago, probably, I can't remember now, was it, when was lockdown? It was 2020, wasn't it? Yeah. I think, I don't know if I did it the year before that, but anyway, the first year it was just me with my cards in this massive tent and there's all other crafts, and then the next year we all had to buy, we still had another tent the next year, then we had to buy our own gazebos after that. First year I was there on my own, and I was so busy it was round, so the next year I got Jay there to help me, so busy, I said to her, right, you're going to have to do some as well, so that's when I first sort of got her just to launch into it, and we had a couple of tables for Reiki as well. But now we've got our own little gazebo, and literally it's like turnstiles. They are people in and out all day.
And you used to have Karen used to come and do your
Karen
booking
used to do the booking in, but now we have Jane Moyes there.
So she does
so
that.
So she does the booking, but she also has her lovely crystal bracelets there. So that's another inlet there. So But there are also other tarot readers there now, and they're ones that I've taught, so I can't complain.
Lovely.
Another lady who does crystals there. But it's a really great day.
Yeah,
I don't know what it costs to get in, but you can pre-buy tickets either for one day or two. It's for families as well. Lots of food there.
I had a reading from Jay one year, many, many years ago, before I'd studied tarot. And I can remember her saying, "You've got a lot of major cards here." That didn't mean anything to me at the time.
Now you know, yeah. But it is nice because I think so often we're trying to preach to the converted people, aren't we? Like at Mind, Body and Spirit shows, people come because they're into it. And I suppose at Realisation Festival, the biggest laugh is you see some people drag their children past, don't look in there, what they're going to see, a couple of people with horns, I don't know. And we had one guy doing a radio interview as he walked round, and he said, and this is where they'll predict your future. You're going to meet a tall, dark, handsome man. And Jane Moyes said, "That's extremely rude. That's not what they do." And he's like quickly scooted past. It was hilarious. But it is a great days, and we get people come back as well, so that's another good thing, because they like come one year then the next, so that's interesting. Yeah, but do come along. We're there at that one. Yeah, it's all good. Are we up to time almost? Yeah. What time we started now?
Yeah, we are.
Yeah. So yeah, everything we talk about is what we think. It doesn't make it true. I want to say. But yes, it's just our perception of things, isn't it? But
definitely interested in your perception of things as well. Do get in touch and let us know if anything's resonated or not.
Or not. I had plenty of conversations with people this weekend who didn't resonate, and I actually really enjoyed it. So please do.
It's not that I think people have to agree with me.
You'd like them to.
I'm quite up for people challenging it, and I suppose the biggest thing is there was a time when I'd first seen fairies, for example. I used to talk about it quite a lot, and this guy said to me, "You need to not say that you sound like a mad person." And I said, "I don't care whether you believe me or not, but you have to let me believe it." And so that relationship didn't go very well, as you can imagine. But it's about, not that I do or don't care what other people think, but I'm allowed to think what I think, as they are.
And we're all different, and if we want to live in a world where we're all going to get on and not have any war, we need to be able to tolerate and be curious as to why people think really what they think.
Isn't it? Be curious.
Yeah.
It's a good thing. So there.
So thank you for your time and attention.
Yes, I think, have we all done, ladies and jelly spoons?
Yes.
Yeah, good. So catch you next time. This will go out, goodness knows when. We think about the 15th of July.
Yep, 15th
And
of July.
the next one after that will be
5th of
the
August.
5th of August. And that'll be live on Facebook as well. Enjoy the summer. We hope you enjoyed this episode. We'd love you to get in touch with us. Our email address is kitchentablechat88@gmail.com. We welcome your questions or even suggestions for future topics. Also, please share this episode with those that you think may be interested. Thank you for listening. Until next time.